up the middle. He's got so many big runs this year. Josh Adams with a first down and then some. Touchdown.
Give it to Josh Adams and let him run. Adams breaks free. Inside the 20. Can they track him down? They cannot. Touchdown.
Yet another big run from Adams.
Josh Adams had shirts and hats made. He had become an early season sensation, and Notre Dame's official website had started his Heisman campaign. Yes, Josh Adams was a legit Heisman contender in 2017, but as quickly as all the hype started, it was over. He fell off, left for the NFL, went undrafted, and became a name of the past in the football world. So my question is, what happened? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the rise and fall of Josh Adams' football career, and why the hype train came to a screeching halt. But first, if you love college football, then this is definitely the channel for you, as I make all sorts of college football related videos, and I need your help to reach 6,000 subscribers by the end of August. Be sure to smash that like button, let me know who I should do next down in the comment section, and turn on post notifications so you never miss another upload. Now let's get started with the rise and fall of Josh Adams. Josh Adams grew up in Warrenton, Pennsylvania, and he loved football from a very young age. He eventually got to Central Bucks High School, and he made an immediate impact there. He ran for 2,085 yards and 28 touchdowns as a high school sophomore, and then he was off to a hot start with 738 yards and 10 touchdowns before he tore his ACL his junior year. This was the absolute worst time for him to get injured, as your junior season is the most important in terms of recruiting, but he would bounce back in a big way. As a senior, he rushed for 1,623 yards and 25 touchdowns, while being named to the All-Pennsylvania first team. In terms of recruiting, Josh was definitely a hot commodity, as he was a low 4-star recruit according to most sites. He had offers from Penn State, Notre Dame, Rutgers, and Pitt, but the Irish left a lasting impact on him when he visited. He apparently met with Will Fuller when he visited, and his mom said he loved every second of it. He eventually committed to Notre Dame, and he was going to get a chance to play for the Irish. According to 24/7 Sports, Josh Adams was a 4-star recruit, number 26 running back, and the 305th best player in the class of 2015. Once he got to Notre Dame, he was the backup to CJ Prosise and Terrion Folston, but he would catch a break pretty soon into his career that would allow him to play. Folston would go down with an ACL tear, and Adams' role in the offense would immediately take off. He would rush for 49 yards and 2 touchdowns in his first game against Texas, and he started off his career on a solid note. Against Wake Forest, he ran for 141 yards, including a Notre Dame record 98-yard touchdown run. CJ Prosise would get re-injured in their game against Boston College, and Adams would get to start the remainder of the season. To finish the year, he went for 168 yards and a touchdown against Stanford. The Irish were led by Deshaun Kaiser, and they won memorable games over Virginia, number 14 Georgia Tech, a college game day game against number 21 Temple, and a close win over Boston College. They lost to Clemson in a hurricane-like weather game, and lost by way of a game-winning field goal to Stanford. The Irish went 10-2 and lost to Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. Josh became one of the best freshman running backs in the country after he ran for 835 yards and 6 touchdowns while averaging 6 yards per carry. As a sophomore, Adams saw his role in the team increase as he was named the starting running back going into the season. He went for 106 yards in their win over Nevada, and then he kind of cooled off a little bit. He had another 100-plus yard game against Syracuse and finished the season strong with 100 yards against Virginia Tech and 180 against USC. The Irish weren't so lucky though. They went 4-8 and had the worst season of the Brian Kelly era. As a sophomore, Adams improved as he rushed for 933 yards and 5 touchdowns. He didn't exactly regress, but many thought he would have had a better season than he did. Josh would break out his junior year, and this would be the height of his football career. Anchored behind a really good offensive line that included Quentin Nelson, Adams got off to a hot start as he ran for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns in their opening game. 2 weeks later, he went for 229 yards against Boston College, and by late October, he was starting to emerge as one of the best backs in college football. After 191 yards and 3 touchdowns against USC, and 202 yards against NC State, Josh Adams was a legitimate college football superstar. Through 8 games, he had led the FBS in rushing with 1,169 yards, and he was now in the running for the Heisman Trophy. But sadly, this is where things began to go downhill for him. He ran for 100-plus yards 6 times and over 200 yards twice in those first 8 games, but in his last 4 games, he only ran for over 50 yards once, and all of a sudden, his hype and Heisman campaign were over. He ran for 44 yards in their win over LSU in the Citrus Bowl, but everything just seemingly completely died after that. As a junior, he ran for 1,430 yards and 9 touchdowns, while becoming one of the top stars in the game. So why did he fall off? Well, first, he got injured in their game against Wake Forest. Second, I believe he had a really good offensive line around him. And finally, I think defenses figured out how to defend his big play ability. Adams would declare for the 2018 NFL Draft, but concerns were raised immediately. At his pro day, his foot was clearly bothering him, and he was going to require surgery. All the medical concerns led him to going undrafted, and he was picked up by the Philadelphia Eagles. Despite being the 4th-string guy going into the season, he was actually going to get a chance to prove himself in 2018. Jay Ajayi tore his ACL, Corey Clement was battling an injury, and Darren Sproles was also battling an injury. He scored his first NFL touchdown in a loss to the Saints, and he would get a chance to start his next 2 games. He ran the ball for over 20 times in both those games and had 85 and 84 yards in both those games, and he did score a touchdown against the Giants. To this point, Adams had become one of the team's best backs, and he was actually doing pretty well. He savored every moment, and he worked hard for what he got. He would go on to finish the season with 511 yards and 3 touchdowns, while averaging the league average 4.3 yards per carry. He would get to appear for the Eagles in the playoffs, and it was cool that he got to play for one of the professional teams in his home state. Overall, he had a pretty solid rookie year, but did he actually do enough to be worth investment in the future by the team? It wouldn't end up being enough, as he was one of the final cuts going into the 2019 season. He would sign with the Jets and appear in 2 games in 2019 though. So far, it doesn't look like he will be in the NFL for the 2020 season, but I do hope the best for Josh Adams moving forward. He was apparently one of the hardest workers around, and everyone fed off his energy. It's sad that injuries played a part in his downfall of his football career, but I'm not sure he was as good as advertised. So what happened to Josh Adams, and why did he ultimately flame out? Well, I have 3 reasons. Of course, he was a talented kid, but a lot of his big games in college depended on him having big runs, and a lot of that didn't seem sustainable. Secondly, he played behind an amazing offensive line at Notre Dame, and that really helped him out a lot. And finally, since he depended on those big plays, when he got injured, it took away some of his explosiveness and mobility, thus taking the edge away he had on defenders. I truly enjoyed watching Adams at Notre Dame and his short-lived career in the NFL. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, and be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed today's video. It will really help the channel grow if you smash that like button, and I also really need your help to reach 6,000 subscribers by the end of August, so be sure to like and subscribe. If you are still here, check out my video about what happened to DeShone Kizer, and all my other What Happened to College Football videos. I hope you guys have a great day, and until next time, peace.